Liberia Peace Building Office, Mr. Edward Moba, and also the acting peace ambassador, Ambassador Eric Smokwekwe. They're in studio. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, brother.
Good morning, brother. Can you just knock your microphone? Yeah, great.
Good morning, Vavle.
Yeah, it's great.
It's on?
It's on. Yours is on now. Yeah, it's
Okay.
on. It's on. Yeah.
Good morning, Vavle.
Yeah, it's good to speak to the both of you at this time. But let me first of all start with you, Mr. Moba. Let's understand the Peace Building Office. What do you do?
Okay, thank you, Vavle, and thanks for having us here.
Mm-hmm.
The Liberia Peace Building Office is an integral part of the government.
Mm-hmm.
It was established jointly by the government of Liberia and the United Nations system in 2008.
Okay.
I was established for two major reasons. One, between 2009 to 2015, it served as the United Nations Peace Building Fund Secretariat.
Okay.
So, ministers the day-to-day affairs of UN Peace Building resources, Peace Building Fund resources, on behalf of the Joint Steering Committee. The Joint Steering Committee is that apex decision-making body for peace building funds in Liberia. And so, because the composition of that apex body comprised of higher level people. For example, you have the Minister of Internal Affairs who co-chaired that. Then you have the Minister of Finance, who was the interlocutor between the government and the international community. Then you have the SRSG at the time. Ome was here.
Yeah.
And then key ambassadors and key ministers in government. So, because of their business schedule, so the Peace Building Fund Secretariat acted on their behalf on a day-to-day basis in terms of administering the funds by providing the relevant information based on relevant information that will inform them to make informed decisions when it comes to Peace Building Fund allocations, decision with respect to how the different programming should be done, the alignment of the PBF funded interventions to national priorities. So that's the function. That function actually ended in 2015, based on an evaluation that was conducted.
Okay.
So one of the recommendations was that they detach the secretarial function and put that at the front decks of the UN resident coordinator, and that is what happening at the moment. The second function, so act as the office of the government on peace building and reconciliation. Okay. And what that means is to facilitate processes that lead to the formulation of strategies and programs and projects that focus on peace and reconciliation, and also provide advisory to the government, as well as do central coordination of peace building efforts and reconciliation efforts in the country. But of course, not doing that as peace building office alone, but working closely with the Office of the National Peace Ambassador. So, but he will speak to that because that office is a political face for reconciliation.
Okay.
And of course, that office is appointed. It's a presidential appointed position.
Yeah.
Unlike me, that my appointment, of course, comes from the minister.
Okay.
That's it. Significant difference.
Yeah.
But the Peace Building Office, to conclude on this, is a specialized program. All right, it's a specialized program as far as peace and reconciliation is concerned in the country. And that is brief summary about the Peace Building Office.
Yep. We'll talk more about the office. Some people say, well, we have the absence of gun sounds. So what's the need to push peace? You will speak more to that. But let me come to you, Ambassador Eric Smokwekwe. I mean, just understanding the how the office of the peace building works? I mean, what role do you play?
Well, thank you, Vafle. Firstly, it's an honor and a privilege to be sitting here in this cozy studio. This is my first time
Okay.
interacting and being in here. I have come here before, but this is the first time. Howbeit, so the Office of the National Peace Ambassador, as you know, its establishment was when Madam Sullivan Lemo Bowie, an Indian,
Mm.
person, won the Nobel Peace Prize sometimes back. And when I was still not in the country, I was still in the States. But we all know that Madam Lemo Bowie was appointed the National Peace Ambassador then by Madam Sirleaf when they won the Nobel Peace Prize. But after Lemo Bowie left, Madam Sirleaf saw it or deemed it necessary at the time to appoint the present president,
Mm.
as peace ambassador of the Republic of Liberia. And during his tenure, I suppose that's when he worked along with the peace building office to bring about some peace initiatives into this country. And thereafter, President we are now left the job and decided to run for Senate. And and then William R. October the 3rd
Mhm.
was appointed as peace ambassador, as we all know, in 2015.
Mhm.
And that's when I joined him when I came back home. And we've worked along with the peace building office. We've coordinated with local and international partners.
Okay.
We've held engagements with our citizens across the 15 counties of Liberia, and there are many other traditional leaders that we interacted with motorcyclists, for example, civil society organizations, and the like. Up to the time Reverend Toba died 2 years ago,
Mhm.
that's when I was his deputy, principal deputy, and then I stepped into his shoes since
Okay.
2 years ago. And so basically, our work is like Eddie mentioned earlier. Um, we are the political face of peace building and reconciliation in this country.
Mhm.
So, meaning that we have to liaise with the peace building office, our
Mhm.
local partners, seek support for programs as such, and to engage our people, service delivery to our people.
Yep.
As you know, many of them are in need of service delivery, but we don't get it, unfortunately. And many times it's because of funding purposes. But
Mm.
that's primarily our job, our
Yeah.
function.
Yep.
Whatever we do across this country, we need to unite our people. And so, just to answer your question,
Yeah.
those are some activities that we get ourselves involved in.
Yeah, great. Now, coming back to what I asked earlier, peace
Yeah.
and reconciliation
Mhm.
in Liberia. When we say, why should we bother ourselves with peace and reconciliation when the sound of the guns uh, is no more?
Yeah, the guns are silent,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So
But
why
but,
should we
but, but
bother
let me
ourselves?
tell you, silencing of the guns does not mean that you have peace. It's just the fact that you don't hear the loud sounds.
Mm,
But peace goes beyond that.
okay.
You got different. There are different elements to ensuring that the peace is sustained.
Mm,
And I'll tell you this: the country went to war because there are structural issues, structural violence, and there are a number of conflict factors for which the country went to war. I'll give you an example.
mm,
Over centralization of governance. And over centralization of governance leads to the lack of participation,
mhm,
exclusion, marginalization. And because of those elements of over centralization of governance, then it gives rise to citizens not participating in decisions and
mhm.
political activities or social economic activities
That
that
affect
affect their lives.
Yep.
Because of that, they also agitate. When their concerns, their grievances are not being addressed, when they are not being listened to, they agitate. And then when they don't have access to basic social services, all right, and they become dissatisfied. when people become dissatisfied, of course they become violent. If they are not being listened to, if their concerns are not being addressed. So if the guns are silent, it does not necessarily mean that we have peace. What we have right now, people term it as fragile peace. And indeed, it's fragile peace.
That means it's breakable.
It's breakable. It breaks at any time because we have not been able to, over the years, we have not been able to address the root causes of the reasons why we went to war. I just gave you one of them, right? Over centralization of governance. There are efforts, there are genuine efforts that are being made to address that conflict factor. For example, the decentralization initiatives, the county service center, all right? Those are practical efforts to addressing decentralization, addressing over centralization of governance. You have the mismanagement of natural resources, including land. All across this country, there are land issues. All across. All right? This country, there are land issues. Of course, we have the Liberia Land Authority been doing well, but there are more robust actions that are required to address the land issues. The people of this country need to have access to incentives that are generated because of government's engagement with concession companies, for example. The concession company has a relationship with the government through a contract. Not so?
Yeah.
So the benefits to be accrued, and the people of the country should have access, though over time, but they also need to be informed on at what point in time do you begin to enjoy the social contract or social contract corporate responsibilities that should be translated into the provision of services or something like that the people can access. So mismanagement of natural resources, including land, was also one of the conflict factors. Again, I want to say here that there are efforts to address that. Then you have the issue of weak relationship between the state and the citizens.
Okay.
As another conflict factor. In the past, the government used the military as an instrument of oppression. So instead of if there were issues, instead of going to the government, the citizens rather chose different option because they lost trust, all right, and confidence in the state institutions. All right. So we need to see how we can rebuild that trust and confidence between the states and its citizens. It's another conflict factor. Again, efforts are being made in that direction. Do you understand me? So there are a number of them that in the absence of the gun that we need to address to ensure that we have consolidated peace and hence reconciliation in this country.
Okay.
Should we not do that? Should we not address those conflict factors? We will be at the margin of reconciliation. We'll just be going in virtuous cycle. Yes.
You tend to agree with that, Ambassador?
Well, yes, I do. There's so many reasons why we think that Madam Selvi, the former president, I'm sorry, has said that she tried her very best, but she was unable to bring the people together, meaning reconciliation, to reconcile the people. There's a very big difference between the silence of the guns and rehabilitation of people, reaching out and providing services to the people, as I stated earlier. One other issue that I wanted to state here, in addition to what Eddie just stated, is boundary harmonization. For example, we have issues between Bapolu and Bon County, for example. We went in there to try to settle the matter, and up to date is unfinished business. The boundary that creates Bapolu, since Lofa County, or Bapolu was created out of Lofa County, has not been resolved up to now. Bon County still thinks that parts of Bapolu still belongs to Bon. So even during electionary period, they take two ballot boxes, one on the other side, one on the other side. So citizens from all sides claim That particular area behind the Henry River, whatever it is, Bon County thing is for them.
Yeah, the people in
And
B and
Barbary
Doro,
say it's for them.
just example, the people in B and Doro think that there are more rivers.
Exactly. So now you
Sure.
see, you're adding
Than
on to the
Nimba.
problem. And then River says and Grand Bassa County, River says and Sino County. And there's some way around the bombing area too.
The bombing
Bombing
and
and
So these
Barbary.
are all conflict triggers.
Those
Yes.
are all conflict triggers.
They are.
So there are many issues that we have not resolved since the war.
Mm.
And many of the guys you see in the streets, we're overlooking them every day. We did not rehabilitate them. Fafly. And that's the honest truth. These guys are lingering around. There are spots in this very Maserati that we sit in. There are conflict triggers. These boys who are in the streets today riding motorcycle, not all of them are rehabilitated. What's about the people we call Zogos, the less fortunate ones? Even our female girls, our girls, they fell into the trap already. And so there are many, many, many other trigger factors, but we can't say it all here today because of time.
So I thought to put it in perspective, for us to put it in perspective, to understand how deep is the issue of peace and reconciliation in this country, because if we don't know the problems, we can solve the problems. We can't solve the
No,
problems.
definitely we
No.
can.
So what are efforts being made from the Peace Building Office jointly with the Peace Ambassador's Office to
Well, let me-
to try and resolve some of these issues?
Yes, very good question. I'm smiling because it's unfortunate that as government, we are making efforts, but we have not made sustained efforts. Because when it comes to reconciliation, my dear brother, it's not haphazard. It's not an issue of international community. Reconciliation is the responsibility, ultimate responsibility of the government. The government should drive the process. The government should lead the process. But over times, reconciliation and peace building projects or initiatives have been project based, and project has a start and end time, start time and end time. You understand me?
When you say project, what do you mean?
Projects, for example,
The holding of conferences?
holding of conferences, holding of dialogues, one off. You come here, you hold one dialogue here today, and that's it. Because the funds that been provided to hold that dialogue is provided by maybe an international partner. All right. So that become an issue, that become a project. Maybe for 6 months, you hold one dialogue here, you won't hold one dialogue there. Unlike where if you treat reconciliation as a program-based initiative, where because we know that reconciliation is a process. It's a process. It's a long-term process. So it should not be based on 18 months, 1 year funded project by international community or international partner. We really deeply agree and happy that our international partners have been the one supporting efforts around reconciliation by investing funding. Government had tried, but government needs to do more. I'll tell you why. And we have different frameworks in place, peace and reconciliation frameworks in place. From 2009 to date, we have had over 9 peace building frameworks, policy related documents based on empirical evidence. For example, we developed the strategic roadmap for national peace building, healing, and reconciliation. They have 12 pillars. There are 12 pillars that board us on different elements of the society. For example, you're talking about youth empowerment, youth recovery empowerment, and there are different action points required there. Women recovery empowerment, there are different action points required. They got conflict prevention and mediation, all in one system, transformative education, constitutional review, historical review, and identity. All these elements are in that framework. You understand what I'm talking about? That's just one document. That document is action oriented but has lacking the kind of political will to have that implemented over the years. You have the opportunity to map for peace consolidation. Join it together with the Peace Ambassador Office and Governance Commission. A very good document that highlighted the critical issues that continue to underpin peace and reconciliation, and what are some of the actions needed to be taken forward. You have that document there. We also have the 15 county reconciliation plans, and this plan is county based. Each county has what they want to do to achieve reconciliation. Very good document. They call it local voices, enhancing local voices for peace consolidation. All right, 15 county plans. They are there.
They're running their own programs.
No, it's based on activities, the consultation, dialogues that led to the formulation of this plan.
But the plan varies, right?
Yeah, it varies.
It
varies from county to county.
Yeah,
it varies it based on the realities of the county.
Yeah.
So based on the realities, they formulated a plan based on led by a very good facilitation process, and then they come up with that plan, and that plan or those plans individually are being consolidated, referred to as enhancing local voices for peace consolidation, but it's county by county plan. Over the last couple of years, we have not been able to implement, or they have not been able to implement their plans. You ask them why, because we have gone out there to engage with the superintendents. Why are your plans not being implemented? They say, look, executive director, why are you asking us? We don't have funding for this. And you understand me? So we have that on the table. We also have 3 policy documents that are very much evidence-based, coming through a consultative process across the country, through research and all of that. We call that the SCORE Wave 1, the Social Cohesion and Reconciliation Index Survey Wave 1. And that report from 2016, 2017, we did Wave 1. 2017-18, we did Wave 2. 2021, we did Wave 3. All those documents are there. They've outlined systematically the actions that government should take to ensure that reconciliation is deeply seated or is deeply rooted into the fabric of the society, so that the governing processes can be consolidated. Because in the absence of reconciliation, the process of governance cannot hold. It'll be difficult, I can tell you.
Okay, let me hold you there, Mr. Morban, and come to the Peace Ambassador. It seems to me the lack of implementation of these very good documents, policies, is due to lack of political will.
Okay, so, because I am the political face of peace building, doesn't mean that I cannot speak the truth. Yes, it is. It's hindering the process, and that is why the country is so divided, which has been alluded to by the outgoing president, who has done very well, in these elections, and has also conceded, but has told the people that reconciliation is the way forward. Bringing our people together is the way forward. So it seems to me everybody knows exactly what's going on. But are we putting our money where our mouths are? No, we're not. I can tell you something. 2017, for example, we engaged stakeholders across this country, and by and large, the success of that 2017 elections ushering in this present government were by and large because of fundings that were made available for us to hold engagement across the country with our people. Since this government came into power, we have advocated for, we've drawn plans, there are plans on the way, but up to date, we don't have the funding. Every time you put in for something, we're told it's only salaries we can pay. Only salaries we can pay. That's it.
So what's the status of peace and reconciliation?
It's on hold for now.
Just it's fragile.
No, I understand the fragility of the process. Because I'm looking also at the urgency of addressing these issues.
Oh, my dear brother, if there were no urgency, in the past to address let's put on the piece is broad, eh? Let's narrow our discussion on reconciliation.
Yeah.
If there were no urgency in the past to address issue around reconciliation, it's about now. These elections have accentuated the deep divisions along ethnic, regional, and political lines. These elections, I want to underscore that with emphasis. These elections have accentuated the deep divisions along ethnic, regional, and political lines. So the urgency is even more paramount than before to ensuring that reconciliation begin to thrive. We need now to reflect on the different frameworks, the different policy documents which are discussed here, or we discussed here, to begin to actualize the implementation of some of these actions and activities in those policy documents.
I guess this advice is going to the incoming government.
Well, the incoming government should take it, both incoming and outgoing government. Because, look, let me tell you, the outgoing government will still have a major role to play.
Okay.
Because you're talking about government inclusion, you're talking about the country, you're talking about the Liberian people. Whether you're in government or you're not in government, you have a major role to play when it comes to reconciliation. And you understand me? So my call, or our call, is to the incoming government, but we're also not leaving out the outgoing government. We are saying that the divisions are deep. And because the divisions are deep, these divisions tend to further weaken the social fabric. And when the social fabric is weakened, it tends to undermine genuine peace and reconciliation. It tends to undermine the governing processes because it makes governance difficult. And we're saying that. We have the experience. So we think that it's about time for greater political will to be aligned with efforts of the Office of the National Peace Ambassador and the Peace Building Office and other partners so that we can begin to roll out. Because, look, if you want to bypass reconciliation, a case of Namibia, do a research on Namibia. Namibia, in the past, wanted to bypass reconciliation. The fact that they bypass, they always come to violence. After some time, violence repeated.
No, but Ambassador Eric, I mean, reconciliation, there will obviously be disagreements. There will obviously, the fact that we live in a democratic society, people will disagree. The fact that I don't vote for you, I disagree with you. So does reconciliation mean that we will not disagree?
No. We'll always have disagreements. In real-time democracies, our is an emerging democracy. As we go along, we improve along the way. Even the great United States, they have some rough edges back in the days. They fought civil wars, they did a lot of stuff. We know about the Civil War and the stuff in America, right? But at the end of the day, they are now serving as a role model. But even at that, they still have fragility. See what happened between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, for example. Don't you think they still have disagreements? Did you think they have smooth democracy? But no, our democracy, as we see it, is one that is emerging. And we can do better. We are doing better. Just what happened these few days, we're serving as a role model now. People are talking about us. People are thanking us. And I have said, congratulations to the incoming president and congratulations as well to the outgoing. Because for him to be as young as he is, and for the first time that I've seen this all through my life, that a young man will concede, power just like that. But we will have disagreements, even in a home. Does it mean because your family or your wife is there, your children are there, you all eat together and play together every day means that you will not disagree. You will always disagree. But to the level at which a whole country of 5 million plus, that's only, you went to election, there's only 20,000 or so difference. See how close it is? It's a deeply rooted conflict or process that we have to engage the new the income.
So it means that the voting population of the voting population 20,000 plus says, I disagree with you.
Yeah, just
Okay.
20,000.
But let me just add to what the ambassador just mentioned and reference your question. You can disagree to agree. But where that disagreement leads to bitterness, where it leads to hatred, where it leads to fracturing the relationships, that becomes a greater concern for reconciliation. All right? I can disagree with you on issues. And you understand me? But those issues, those disagreements should not lead to anger, strong anger,
Hatred.
bitterness, and insightful speeches, hate speeches. Those disagreements should not lead to that. So when disagreement lead to those, then that means the relationship is fragile, completely fragile.
Is that what you see today?
Oh yes, that's what happening. That happened, and that's why Ambassador is saying, and that's why we're all saying here, that we need to see how those bitterness, those hatreds, those anger, we can now institutional dialogue, so that the people who are angry and the people who are on the other side, let's bring everybody together. Let's discuss. Let us make sure that our discussion is more savor, and then let's reason out together. Because elections have come, elections will go, or have gone. You understand me? But Liberia remains, and Liberians have to live together. They need to live together and coexist. They need to make sure that the country remains peaceful and stable. And that's the only way we can have development. That's the only way you can have social services or access to social services. So when I heard on the radio, on the social media, one Imaya Johnson a few days ago on social, not Imaya Johnson from Ministry of Justice anyway, but one Imaya Johnson, when I heard him saying that we will make Liberia as a Tutsi and Hutu experience, that experience of Hutu and Tutsi will come to Liberia, I was shocked. I was shocked and despondent to see a Liberian say, we will make this place ungovernable. You understand me? That's a strong word. We all know the experiences from Rwanda.
Yeah, but the social media, and all these things, they have some kind of role to play in the maintenance of peace and enhancement of reconciliation.
Yes.
For example, the social media is not regulated. People can go up there, post anything, say anything, but again, it reveals their intent.
Yeah.
But my question is, what are planned efforts
Okay.
by the peace building office to take reconciliation to a more practical level?
Okay.
Given that we're starting afresh with a new administration.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe the ambassador can come in, but before then, let me just say this. We have decided to engage, as we had in fact step up, because we have continued to engage. We have decided to engage with the different groupings that are so angry, and we are calling on our political leaders, the outgoing, the incoming, and other political parties, to condemn any action of violence. You understand me? We are calling on them to condemn any action of violence. Also, we are in the business, together with the ambassador here, we are also in a business to making sure that we have a policy on reconciliation. Because if we have a policy,
I thought we have one.
we don't have.
No,
we
we
don't
don't.
have.
So what
That's
was
why it
explained here?
makes-
What
We-
was explained here?
we have strategic documents. If I say policy that is backed by legislation,
Oh, okay.
we don't have that.
Okay.
Policy backed by legislations. We have administrative policy. We have programmatic policy. Now we stand it. But policy backed by legislations that will curtail issues around hate speech, that will address issues around the bitterness and angers and all the different insightful statements, a policy around that. All right, which been formulated. We have a draft at the moment. So we need to make sure that those policies with the institutional structures in place, robust and capacitated, could be able to address some of these, could be addressed the reconciliation issues we have. Then two, we also need to continue efforts around engagement, community-based engagement, community-driven reconciliation. All right, it's a good way to go. Community-driven reconciliation will lead us to engaging the disadvantaged youth, the at-risk youth, because they can be active participants of social change for peace. They can also be active or passive participants of endangering the peace. So they have critical stake for that matter, in ensuring that we have peace, sustaining our peace. So our engagement through dialogue, we need to increase that step. We also need to institutionalize a community dialogue approach whereby we have the counties, there are 15 counties. That regional approach will bring the different leaders together, the different stakeholders together, with a very well trusted, respected traditional leaders and the religious leaders, bringing them to be major facilitators. You understand me? Because you even look at those sectors, the religious community, the traditional community, they also have their own issues. You understand me? But we're talking about trusted, respected religious leaders, traditional leaders, to be major facilitators of these dialogues that we're propounding here at the regional level. All right? At the county and regional level. Then we'll culminate that into national level. And it should be on a sustained basis, not one-off. And you understand me? Those are activities or initiatives that we believe will help to address some of the hurts, will help to address the issues of angers, and will help to address rebuilding the relationships. All right? And those relationships will gradually lead to reconciliation, and ultimately we achieve social cohesion. Because social cohesion is a glue that holds a society together. If you don't have social cohesion in a given country, your country is bound to have serious governance issues. So we want to see how we can take practical steps, all right, engaging with those target groups I just mentioned.
Okay. Ambassador, you want to say something?
No, I mean, it's just exactly the truth he said, and everything I'd love to say is already said. But we need to engage the people. And I've said this over and over and again. Put the boots on the ground. Talk to the people face to face. That's what they call practicality. You don't sit in Monrovia and think that you achieve peace and reconciliation across 15 counties. That's not going to happen.
But we have the National Counties Post Meet.
Well, that's a very good tool.
Yeah. But it has been running for years now.
But let me tell you, before the ambassador comes,
yeah, sure, go ahead.
I don't want us to critique it, but has it achieved?
No, but let me tell you
to some extent.
But let me tell you this.
Yeah,
we have. I just named one of the documents, the opportunity mapping for peace consolidation. In that document, recommendation 3. I can send you the link. You Google it. Recommendation 3 says that we should use the county meet as a tool for reconciliation. And how do we translate that into actions? It's not about just bringing Ukrainian people on the field to play football. No, that's not. But there are concrete systematic actions that we need to take to be embedded into the design of the counting meets. All right. For example, before the
game.
the game starts, you have like 20-minute pet talks. During the halftime, another 20-minute pet talks. After the game, you're talking reconciliation. Because beyond the football, you got divided parties coming to watch the games.
Or even before the sports counter meet,
Yeah.
you have the dialogue counter meet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be that.
Yeah. So while the players on the field,
yeah,
you have the officials locked up in the room, of the various counties discussing peace and reconciliation.
Yeah. So and this is based on empirical evidence. It's not what we're discussing here. It's not theory. It's not something that comes from it's about what the people say, having consulted with them for over a year.
Okay.
And we came up with that. Yeah.
So let's take course. If you're listening, you're listening to the Super Morning Show on ELBC Radio. This morning, I have the executive director of the Liberia Peace Building Office, Edward Moba, along with the acting peace ambassador, Ambassador Eric Sumokokwede. Here we're talking peace, especially after the elections, and how we can enhance genuine peace and reconciliation across the country. So call us if you have some concerns. Call us on 080-514-096, 080-514-096. Better still, 770-58-1886, 07705-81886, and be live on the Super Morning Show this morning. Let's hear from this first caller. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. This is Theophilus Koi, joining from Maryland.
Yeah, go ahead.
I appreciate your studio guest, and straight to the point. I was thinking the same. Why don't we use a national sports county meet as the only tool to reconcile our people again? So thank God that the idea is on the floor, but let's further enhance it. To the Telegraph, the acting ambassador, I just wanted to explain further. How do you do that? Because when a people's mind is shifted or focused on the football game, initiating peace around moment time is a bit difficult. So how do you talk to people who are focusing on winning a game, praying, and then diverting their mind?
Okay. Thank you. Let's hear from this person. Good morning. Good morning. 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 Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Ross. I'm calling from Riyadh.
Yeah.
I'd like to appreciate both those people for that analysis. But we're talking about reconciliation. Reconciliation in this country, because everybody is just bitter about with each other. Because then look at the time of George William only in 2017. John William called all the political leaders in this country, have meeting with them. Gentlemen, this is our country. Let us work together and make sure and elevate this country will take it to another level. As soon as the national meeting they came out, they start mocking. Oh, the middle of the country that want the men to give them advice. They have challenge in what are the time. So for us to have reconciliation in this country, they need those two political leaders the two parties, UP and CDC, they need different people to come because people are better with the other person, other people are better with the person. So we need to change the mind of young people.
Okay.
Those who in power need to be transformed.
Okay. Thank you. Let's hear from this person. Please leave from the radio.
How are you, brother?
I'm fine. What's your name?
Yeah, there's a former slave. I call from ELBCRadio Junction.
Yeah, let's hear you.
Yeah, I want to correct the studio guest that the difference between Boca and George Weah is 20% plus, yes, but these are not people who went against or CDC. We're calculating those individuals who voted for Joseph Boyka, in totality. That has to do with about 8 or or 800,000 plus. Yeah, those are the people who voted against George Weah. But now the difference between CDC and UP.
No, they were talking about how close the difference is. Not necessarily.
I heard you saying that the 21,000 people who.
No, we're talking about the difference. The difference.
Yeah. It's true.
Anyway.
Okay. With that said, peace and reconciliation have to do with the hairs. And when the followers are saying things to bring about commotion, to bring about bad feelings and trouble in the country, the hair should come out and name and shame these individuals. All right. Now, the common example has to do with the city mayor. The press conference he had, it was not reconciliatory.
What did he say?
Making statement that the election was stolen and sedition should not be. If sedition are offended, they should come and excuse me. If the president accept the result, the follower should do same.
Anyway, we didn't hear that. But anyway, they will speak to that. Let's hear.
He said the election was stolen.
Oh, okay. So let's hear from this person. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Morning. What's the name?
Honorable Edwin Wedge, call from We Nation, Western City Mayor.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to appreciate your still guests and that of the station for where we are going. The issue of reconciliation is paramount and not just on the surface. And as you said, we should institute some measures that can propagate and check all these things. One, the printing and that of the electronic media. The next thing is Facebook. People just say things on the Facebook and go impunity. The next thing we should observe is the issue about football game. We should use sports as a unifier that we all can look at. I support Manchester United. Manchester went against Bayern Munich. They defeated us. We got hurt for less than maybe 24 hours. We let it go. The players exchange just after the game. So we agree, we are all Liberians. Today, Baga have won here, won for the Republic of Liberia. But if we think that we are the father, say, oh, I supported Baga as a party, we know after every successful election, everybody will say, oh, I supported you. Which you can discriminate, who supported or not. But as a good leader, once you have won, your primary concern should be how you can reconcile the country, bring everybody on board to move forward. I want to appreciate the president for being an icon of peace in Liberia and not just Liberia, Africa, which the whole universe is looking at now to see how best we can do Africa. So again, I just want to conclude by saying it is good, reconciliation is good. I will peace didn't office for many years before coming to government. But what we can do is those that are on the social media where sometimes they put some negative whether are true or not and provoke people. The issue of provocation is over. It is now we can all put our pieces together. Don't mistakes and things we saw in the past, Jordan being created. What best we can do to attack the issue of rule, and how we or nation rule, we can send it to the president, an outgoing president that indeed will prioritize this role because it connects one country to Dima and what have you.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Let's hear from this person, then we'll go back to our guest. Good morning.
I'm going to speak to you from our group from Bama.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think we have to utilize the Unification Day, which is the national holiday in Liberia. And the government of Liberia tried to put that into force to make it reconciliatory. That may call like for example, Central Liberia, which is Banga. You have the 15 countries, the people who are permanent, the 15 countries to come on board to preach the issue of a reconciliation. It will be better for us to utilize the national holiday, which is Unification Day.
Okay.
And will make a nation power.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, you listen to all of the concerns. Lastly, the person is saying that we should use Unification Day, but unification, we have all these days. Sometimes we just have to really look at these days like the Unification Day, all of the documents, the national countries post meeting, see if they actually making sense to us in terms of reconciliation, general reconciliation, and peaceful coexistence. So you can respond to the
I think there's just one question, but the rest are comments.
Yeah,
actually, the question about how do you use the the football or the county meet to enhance reconciliation. We said that here again. We can say it that we need to institutionalize community-driven reconciliation approach, and once we can begin to do that, we'll do that before the football game. All right. So if the football game starting, let's say in when the county meet starts,
it starts this December and ends January.
Okay. So once it starts December, so by March, the different actors involved with reconciliation activities or programs will begin to design our programs and begin to engage with the counties, the community counties, and the community district and then the county through a institutional concept of community-driven development. Community-driven reconciliation, bringing all those people who have concerns, who are bitter, who got grievances. We discuss that at that level. All right, and that goes across the 15 counties. Maybe you can do on a regional basis. That takes into consideration 15 counties, and then culminates into the national county meet. So by the time people go into the national county meet, you also use that forum, that particular avenue, again to preach the message of reconciliation. Because it's at that forum that you have people who are divided, people who are bitter, people who have anger, people who want to be listened to will also be there.
Okay.
And then you can preach that. So I think that's one approach. Another thing, the person mentioned that reconciliation is paramount. Indeed, yes. We mentioned that in our introductory statement here. Reconciliation, if it had never been urgent in the past, it should be urgent now. And that's a message, clear message, resounding message to the incoming government.
Okay.
Then someone talk about inclusive governance. Yes, Boyka said his government going to be inclusive. We're looking to see that in actions. And I'm sure that an inclusive government is another strategy to address reconciliation. Because if you have the voices, the participation, the regional dimensions, all of that incorporated into the governance systems and processes, that also is an inherent step towards addressing reconciliation. The issue of social media will need to be regulated. We need to have an action plan, a national action plan against hate speech.
Okay.
So those are some of the actions that we need to take into consideration, and then zeroing on the issue of unification. How do we work together to make unification a meaningful day for every Liberian? It's important.
Thank you very much, and I'll come to you now, Ambassador. Yeah, your parting comments. I will just take Mr. Moba as his parting comments.
Yeah.
Well,
thank you, Bafle. It was an honor again and pleasure. Thank you so much. But my parting comment would just be to the incoming government. We just need all the funding, the support. That, in addition to our partner support, will help us to achieve what we want to achieve in peace and reconciliation. But thank you so much, and we look forward to coming back here again.
Thank you.
If you just permit me, please.
Go ahead.
We are calling on the incoming government. Let us not treat reconciliation as a project. I want to re-emphasize that. Let us not treat reconciliation as a project. Let us treat reconciliation as a program. And that program should have needed political will, complementing by resources. We need that if we have to make sure that reconciliation works in this country.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Well, he's Mr. Edward Moba, the Executive Director of the Liberia Peace Building Office, here also along with Ambassador Eric Hesumokwekwe, the Acting Peace Ambassador, Republic of Liberia. My name is Vafle Kamara. You can join the team tomorrow for another presentation of the Super Morning Show. Bye-bye.